Welcome back to Disco Elysium. Last time we figured out who's behind the drug trade, and we got some information from Choice here telling us that she had a mercenary group protecting her who are now gung-ho somewhere in Martinez, and they're looking for the man who killed their friend, the murder we're trying to solve. And if we don't solve this murder and pin it on someone, there's gonna be a massacre. A massacre! We can't have that. We're the police, we should stop that. So, for right now, I think the two things we should do is, firstly, we can close the waterlock, finally, which opens up a new area in Martinez, as it says right here. We won't be going there today, probably. But secondly, we have this quest. We opened the door for Everard. So we got the Wild Pines representatives' information about the lynching, but we're still missing the information from the Union boss. So we should probably go speak with him. But before we do, we should close the waterlock, because it's right on the way. Oh, there's these two gentlemen. We never spoke with them. I guess we'll do that as we come back from closing the waterlock. What's that blip? The spirited chirps and clicks of swallows fill the air. Yep. Here's the waterlock. Somebody, I assume these people here took down the sign that was blocking it, because somebody drove a car via this slope over the canal, hitting a sign, and thus making the waterlock unclosable. But
a rusting control panel with loose wires dangling out from the hole where an indicator light used to be, and a mechanical lever sitting in the middle.
It's no longer there. So let's pull the lever. Again. You grab the handle and pull the lever up. As soon as the metal connects against the contact pins, you hear a loud clunk. Then
the waterlock starts moving.
Okay, if we ever need to get to the coast, then this is the way. But please, contain your wanderlust for now. I don't want us to get sidetracked, not with everything that's going on.
Focus on one thing, achieve it, then the next, he thinks. That's the task chain.
Sounds like a plan to me. We have no reason to really go there. Well, we are still looking for Morel, the cryptozoologist, fixing the world one waterlock at a time. That's the spirit. That's the working class spirit that I want to see. The cryptozoologist is somewhere past the waterlock, but for right now, we have more pressing matters, I think.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Let's see if Alice actually has some information for us.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Did you find out more about the owner of the armored boots? You know, the boots that we stole off the dead body and are now wearing?
Still no word, I'm afraid, sir. I know it must be frustrating. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
No, that's fine, Alice.
57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see...
So we can't do that yet. It's gotta be a few hours till we can do that. Oh, we did also learn that the scab leader, the so-called scab leader, is probably one of the mercenaries. let's have a chat.
Went native on the chief, huh? Those ballerina antics were reckless. Should have just punched him in the throat again.
Oh, this is because we did a spin kick on Measurehead. Scab Leader thinks we should have just punched him.
Wrong. You did the right thing with Measurehead. The ballerina antics won you the fight.
That's right.
Let's talk about our right to work.
No, let's talk about you being a mercenary hired by Wild Pines. Do you happen to be one?
Hell no. I'm just an honest scab. I won't have talk like that around here. You understand?
His neck muscles tense up. The veins on his neck bulge.
Oh, it just stopped abruptly there. Be careful. He's holding it deep in there. But there are things in there you don't want to meet.
It just has to be said. That was not a convincing line.
Hell no, I'm just an honest scab. That didn't sound too convincing to me.
Fucking loincloth.
He stares you down mutely for a second.
Loincloth? Now you see, that's not really what a scab would say, is it? Better not to press the issue further, sire. He seems tense.
No drama, let's push it further. Is there a tribunal being convened by any chance?
Fucking fuck.
He breathes out slowly, his giant chest deflating and his mouth slightly open.
You hear a tiny rattle, a small radio, cracking somewhere. An earpiece. I'm going to interpret that as a yes. There's a tribunal, and it won't be long until it's ready.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
The lieutenant says, his voice a soothing calm. He looks at you.
There could be weapons aiming at us right now, somewhere above, in the buildings. The other merc. Don't push this, he's thinking. This is not the time.
Better not. Let's back off.
The man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. Slowly, he's trying to get his right-to-work dance back on.
We could ask him about the tattoos. That is a task we have. Joyce warned us against this, but maybe it's just something we need to push him a little further. I think you may be able to decipher some tattoos.
Don't think so.
He grunts, barely glancing at it.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea.
Yeah, it is a bad idea. How about the chat decides this for us? What shall we say? They were on the body of the man who was hanged behind the cafeteria there. It was on your colonel. We're investigating a murder. These tattoos were on the victim's body. Or, of course, yes, let's forget about it. Let's discuss something else. And just back off and cancel the task entirely. What do you think, chat? What should we do? We're investigating a murder. These tattoos were on the victim's body.
Silence. He takes the photo. Grey eyes dart back and forth on the glossy surface. His face is unmoving.
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in.
Loincloths?
Yeah.
He's clenching his teeth. There is silent pressure behind them.
Can you tell me what the tattoo means?
What it means.
He points to one tiny star on the web of lines away from the man's heart, almost on his stomach.
I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here?
How could I say no?
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kipped villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men. are getting restless. There's talk of switching employers.
He licks his lips as if drunk suddenly. I accidentally skipped the first line, which said, "Our colonel is deep in the bush here, deep in the fucking bush, in Banai Tal 41, monsoon season. He's on a reconnaissance. Man, trying to roleplay this is not going well, is it? Alright, let's keep moving.
With some strange emotion. This is about to get really graphic. Last moment to back off.
Let's hear it.
Our boy. He's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see action soon...
His voice gets strangely quiet, a long, long way from right to work. His gaze pierces the paper.
At dawn, he comes upon two kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe they were just making eyes at each other. I like to think they were breeding. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted. Expired in the hands of Sarge Mason, the kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch. God, Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her cold body and fucking ate them. Said primitive spirits were watching over him now. Drowned in a creek a week later. Spirits my ass.
Something stirs in your stomach. There's a word on the tip of your tongue. Colorless, odorless.
It's evil.
You bet it was.
What is evil, fake scab leader?
It's just nature. This guy, he used to say evil is when nature and spirit meet in the wrong place.
You were there?
No, I was in the domain, in Jamrock, being a bouncer.
You're not really a scab leader, are you?
Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off. But...
He shrugs. I don't think we want him to have that. I think we need that as evidence. Can I have it back?
Go ahead.
All right, now. Free commerce! Keep the goods flowing!
On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them, littering his dead skin.
I'm just gonna leave now. That got really graphic. Oh boy. So, this is the kind of people we're dealing with? These are the kinds of people who are planning a tribunal? It doesn't bode well, especially since they're armed with automatic weapons, the kinds of which we don't have. This could get ugly. I'm also not sure if it's a good idea to actually confront them on that issue, showing them the picture of their fellow soldier. Oh, you know what happened to this guy? Can you tell me more about this guy, please? Can you tell me what these tattoos mean? Choice did tell us that she didn't know what the tattoos meant. She only told us that they represented ports, perhaps. Anyway, here's a door.
You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
well, we still need to improve our rhetoric if we want to actually try this out. So we can't do anything with the door just yet. In fact, let's see. We have 3 skill points. We could distribute these. So we could put one in rhetoric right now and give it a shot. But, you know, it's just a cargo container. Maybe we'll save it for later. We have more pressing matters. We still need to talk to Everard. Maybe he'll be more forthcoming now that we've done some favors for him. We did open the door that he wanted us to open. So perhaps now we're actually gonna get some information from him. Let's see if we can equip some clothes to maybe make it somewhat more fruitful. Yep, that'll do. Maybe the shoes. +2 authority, -1. You know what? That's fine. Let's speak with Everard.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Okay, this is one for the chat. Every worker is what? We already know a member of the board is what the union is using in their pamphlets. We could also say, is a living god, or is an organ in the great state organism of war. Also, looks just like me. Every worker for himself, the ultimate individualist. What shall we say? Every worker is what, chat? Oh, let's try it one more time. Perhaps it didn't work. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a little bit too late for because of stream delay. But yeah, now we're talking. Now we got a reply. Every worker is a living god, Everard.
Mr. Dubois, so be it. How can I help you today?
He's super happy about that. I've opened the door you asked me to open. Can we discuss the murder now?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
I may have gone inside and seen a collection of racist mugs.
Just as I thought. Culturally antiquated mug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Everard's Rainbow Coalition.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
Hell yes, we did.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
The mug collection I mentioned was in the apartment. I found a similar mug in the trash with the hanged man's clothes.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best. Helping people. With the power of politics.
Yes, yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder?
Oh, no, 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 no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
Oddly, it seems to be true.
But this weasel might have cleaned up after the killers.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are neat freaks. If you don't mind me saying so, I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
He imitates bashing something with an imaginary baton. What do you think, chat? Shall we say, great technique? You'd make a great sergeant. There's more to police work than whacking an imaginary baton, or say nothing. Which is it? Your call. Everard, you know, there's more to police work than just whacking around an imaginary baton.
Of course, Harry. I'm not a real police officer. You are.
We got some experience from that. I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you know about it.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
I'm listening.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire? I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Actually, what Everard is referring to here, what we just heard from the scab leader, it actually adds up. Hold on, do you have a village elephant?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
They move the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it.
That sounds like fun. I would love to try it.
But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
This also adds up. It's pretty much what the Hardy Boys told us.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers.
He ignores the lieutenant.
We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
He raises a finger as he says that.
An entire neighborhood of killers.
Wait, the whole neighborhood is in on it?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
Who exactly did the pushing?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, Socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land.
That doesn't sound like something Titus Hardy would say, honestly.
He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error? Anyway.
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company, after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
Well, we already know that the Krenel was called Downwell before this incident, so it may have been Sediment before.
Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me.
The remaining mercenaries are organizing a tribunal to take on the Hardys.
Tribunal? That sounds serious, Harry. We Union men should be shitting ourselves. I wish you hadn't told me that. I'm gonna lose sleep over this. Let's change the subject.
He's clearly happy about the tribunal.
You don't seem too worried about it.
Oh, Harry, what do I really think about the tribunal? You're trying to climb to second base with old Everard before you've even courted him properly.
He wants you to do more things for him before.
You mentioned a lawyer girl.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members.
All 7 of them. We already know there was an 8th Hardy boy present at the lynching. And supposedly it's not a boy, it's a Hardy girl.
Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Separate one from the herd.
Half-light coming through. So let me ask you this. Which one of Hardy's boys is your least favorite?
Oh, that would definitely be Fat Angus. His feet smell from a city block away, and he's always having noisy stomach troubles. Horrible, revolting guy.
So let's say something happens to Fat Angus. Let's say a citizen's arrest.
You would die, Harry. You would die, and in the process start a bloody and completely unnecessary war between the Debarders Union and the Citizens Militia. Angus, his ever-growling stomach, and his smelly feet are all part of the Union. You have as much right to arrest him as I have to arrest your partner here.
He points to the lieutenant.
Actually, less. Because this is my hometown, my territory, and my backyard. You are a guest here, Harry. Please remember that. Oh, Harry. This is getting real grim, and there's no need for that. We are friends.
He sits back and looks you in the eye with a wide smile. Kim, our partner, mentioned that even the death of a couple of RCM officers may not warrant any further investigation because of the powder keg situation here in Martinez. So what Everard is saying probably is true. If we tried to arrest the Hardy Boys, we'd get killed. Everard, I met these Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me?
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
He holds out a banknote. Wait, why are you giving it to me?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
Needless to say, this is another move. Don't take it.
Volition thinks we shouldn't take it. But what does the chat think? Should we take the 5 real? It's 5 real. It would bring us to 40 real. What do you think, chat? Shall we take the 5 real? That's just there? I don't need it. I only wanted you to help me with the Hardy Boys.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
Good talk. Let's conclude for now.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Yet?
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
Well, I mean, looking at our political affiliation right now, we have 12 points in communist, 5 points in fascist. Thank you, chat. 3 in ultra-liberal and 6 in moralist, which is the centrist option. But perhaps the chat can choose this for us as well. I'm not a man of the left. I'm a patriot of Revachol. You're right not to trust me. I take care of me. I'm a hustler. I grind. I'm a money engineer. What's that supposed to mean? I'm more left than you are. This is another corrupt scheme, isn't it? I'm neither left nor right. I do what my heart tells me to do. Chat can decide this one for us, I think. What are we? Yeah, let's give it one more click. Just for stream delay. Oh, nothing this time, I guess. Well, I think we're just going to go with the communist option. We are primarily communist. So let's just go with that. I'm more left than you are, Everard. What are you trying to say?
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me?
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
He pulls out an envelope. Kim, what do you think of this?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
He studies Everard.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm going to hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
What are the signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Where is this place exactly?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit.
What will happen to the current occupants?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Are you 100% sure no one's gonna end up homeless?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez, not just the harbour.
Man. He knows something about our gun. And if we refuse the task, he will not help us any further. So perhaps we'll just accept it for now. Fine. If I happen to be there, I can ask them for a signature.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here.
He hands you an open white envelope.
You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I heard there was some trouble with the water lock, but it should be fixed now.
It is.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist.
He runs his fingers through his thin hair. We could just lie about it right off the bat. I don't see how that would work. Everard, I just finished investigating the local drug trade.
Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now let's talk real business.
Actually, Revachol doesn't have a mayor. He refuses to discuss it further. It's probably just a small nuisance to him.
I did it, Everard. I made it even shadier.
What?
The big man looks at you, surprised. The brew. The shady brew that we talked about before. Everard, I made it even shadier.
Oh, how could I forget your little side project? Well done, Harry. Well done. Don't even tell me what it was. But good job. I love it when workers take the initiative like this.
So do I. That's one tasty brew. You should drink some right now, if you can.
Yes, it's almost drink o'clock again. So he doesn't care about either of those things. This one's lighter. Rand, can we go over a few details concerning murder again?
Most certainly, Harry.
Oh, there's nothing. There's nothing here. There's nothing
Dear
here.
Harry, I rarely do, Harry. I have people for that. Now, you were saying?
I'm gonna leave now, but we might talk again later.
See you soon, debardeur. Just kidding, but not too much.
Alright. So, we got a new task, which is to get 2 signatures for Everard. Get Isabel and Lillian in the nameless fishing village down the coast to sign Everard's document. Once the signatures are secured, mail the document to Everard's accountant using the mailbox on the plaza in front of the whirling. Building a youth center. That sounds great. But is it true? Well, regardless, we did Everard's previous task, which means we should now be able to talk to the Hardy Boys. Talk to them about the murder once more. He did say, Everard did say that he, that the Hardy Boys should now cooperate with us. I'm not sure if it's gonna be that easy, but at the very least they have the word from Everard that we are indeed, we should get some sort of cooperation. We'll see. I guess before we head on that way, there were these 2 gentlemen here playing a game, and we haven't spoken with them before. Maybe we'll do that right now. It's only 10:41.
Officer, God damn it. Pull yourself together, René. What do you want?
Did we actually speak with them before? I seem to remember we didn't. René, I found your guard booth.
Yes. The Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the night. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight.
He adds with a slight sigh. I think if we spoke with them earlier, there was a different dialogue, but it's day 3 and we never spoke with them before. For some reason we know their name already. This seems a bit off to me. René, you must have seen something on the night of the murder. Your booth looks right into the yard.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday.
So, who was working your shift that night?
No one. The bus has been unmanned since last Monday. There's no other guard. It's just me.
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officer. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before, René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
Mostly decorative?
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
He tries to argue.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabinier's pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
So this is a little bit interesting. I think the game intended us to intended for us to speak with these people before, and I don't think we did. And now it assumes we've already spoken to them. That's a little weird to role play around, but we did find his guard booth. That is true. So that's what we're talking about. And our options here are... Evrard gets it. Big guys looking after the small and everybody working together. I love it. Such dependency only weakens a man further. Do or die. There is no middle ground. René is but one man. We need a program. Get all the elderly back in the job market. Keep folks motivated. René should rent out his services, invest the profit, get a few more guys, expand and repeat. Wage work is a dead end. There's absolutely nothing wrong with tear collecting. It's my side thing too. Proudly hold out a tear bag. I'll let the chat decide this one. What shall we say? Let's get political. Now let's click it one more time, again, just to make sure that there's no stream delay. Look, there's nothing wrong about tear collecting. I do it too. Check out my tear bag. It has a couple of empty bottles in it.
Oh, I didn't mean to imply there's something wrong with that. I do it too. Everyone does it. It's an excellent side thing.
Yes, yes, yes. Can we conclude the topic of my guard boost now?
He is not going to become an entrepreneur.
I saw a picture in there. You were in it. Who's the girl? That's right, we did find a picture. We can't open the picture right now. I'd open it and show it to you, but unfortunately we cannot. But let's ask, who's the girl?
She is nobody. This is none of your concern, and I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Oh, we got a skill point. Got it. Thanks.
Yes, yes. Like I said, it would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps my senses sharp.
I'm really sad we didn't speak to these two gentlemen before day 3, because there was another event that would have taken place. I think we missed it. It's okay. Do you know anything about the man hanged in the backyard of Whirling in Rags?
Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement. But this affair has passed me by completely.
And most of the locals?
In Martinez, the union is the law. So can you really blame them?
But you don't have a problem with cops?
Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets.
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics.
Yes. What about police women?
I'm confident they are indispensable in regard to all the paperwork and other administrative duties.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have some political options. Not to mention keeping the station tidy and the man fed and happy, huh, Renee? Huh? You get me? There are no duties RCM women couldn't carry out. You better not be implying that women are unfit for field work, or I try to avoid voicing opinions on controversial matters. Let's just drop it. I'll leave this for the chat and regret it afterwards, as I do. What do we think about police women? Look, René, there are no duties RCM women couldn't carry out.
But you must agree that nature, in her infinite wisdom, has made men more fit to perform certain, more challenging tasks. Don't you, officer?
No, I don't think there's any evolutionary inequality at play here.
Really, officer? Match an average woman against an average man in a dark alley and see who comes out on top. Gender equality is a very noble, very modern idea. But in real life, primal roles prevail. But I do not wish to discuss this matter further.
Yeah, well, let's not then. You seem to be playing in a crater.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game.
Well, we already know it probably has to do with the bombing. So, does it have something to do with all the bullet holes I've been seeing around?
Yes. It was left by heavy artillery fire.
Okay, it's a crater left by artillery fire, but why?
Why what?
Why was heavy artillery used?
Because that's what happens when communists hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home.
Wait, who are the communards again?
Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Senseless sentimentality.
The carabiner frowns. Did you use artillery fire against them?
Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked.
He adds, squeezing a boulet in his fist.
Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
Why shell them here in Martinez?
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first.
The beachhead?
Yes. The military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta.
He points to the northeast. Deathblow sounds grim.
This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood ground. You got old Rene going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Hold on, the coalition? Again, this is... I feel as if we should have spoken with these people on day 1, but we didn't. But let's ask about the coalition anyway.
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesser evil.
Ah. That explains all the war damage.
Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
There's a strange gleam in his eyes.
He approves of this radical approach. knows it was necessary.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own downfall. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, they still all influence.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players at the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think?
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
Yes, present one, chat. That's how it should be. Soft socialists paving the way for the hard working class to take over. Foreign powers cleaned up our mess and now they rule us as we shake our head in shame. This coalition seems quite capable, actually. Commies just don't understand how money works. Or nothing. I don't think. I just do. How do we feel about this? Oh yes, our communist self is being intruded by the market liberal, and this is why we say commies just don't understand how money works.
No, they don't. But I'm sorry it had to be the coalition. After 8 years of fighting rabid commies, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains,
He takes a deep breath.
I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio.
He sighs.
This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with.
How does Philip III factor into this as we point towards the monument?
It doesn't. That was 100 years ago. It got nothing to do with anything.
Who is this Frisel you're referring to?
Damn Frisel. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the hoi polloi, in a very public execution.
The hoi polloi, you say? You mentioned Guillaume?
A true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Frisel. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile.
Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him, and he doesn't want to admit it.
What exactly is a suzerain?
The suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? They've forgotten already. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
Well, we do have an old carabiner here. Maybe we should present him with the antique firearm we found in one of the caches in the haunted commercial area. Is there anything you can tell me about this rifle?
It's a Bell McGrave, 4.46 caliber, breech loading, Revachol made. Good weapon, accurate and reliable. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty. Where did you find her?
I see no reason to lie. I found it in the basement there as we point to the bookshop.
I'm not surprised. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons lying around here. Back in the day, everyone had something stashed away. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. These BM-446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find.
Since you're all about kings, I saw the statue of Philippe the Third near the roundabout.
Ah, yes. King Philip III on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule.
How should a true king rule?
Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood.
How about we leave this up for the chat? Seems to me a leader should take care of his people before himself. Powerful leaders, not afraid to do what must be done. That's what this country needs. Or just be boringly ambivalent about it. What is it, chat? How should a true king rule? Well, René, I'm sad to say, but the chat thinks that a leader should take care of people before himself.
A nation is only as strong as its leader. That's why it was such madness to try to...
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
There's some wariness in his voice now. He's heard this rant many times before.
The Carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a symbol for him.
Let's talk about something else.
Right.
The old man stands tall and proud, looking at you inquisitively. Oh, whoa, Nelly. 8% chance to figure out what it is about this old soldier that makes him stand so proud. Our composure is miserable. Maybe we can improve that? Thank you for your time for now, Renee. Oh, what's that?
Wow, you work hard.
Where's this coming from, savoir-faire? I do?
Oh, yes. You hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
What hard work do I do exactly?
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
Oh, this is because we said an ultra-liberal thing, because we're starting to be a market liberal. A communist, fascist market liberal, centrist, but still a market liberal. Yeah, I ride. A little.
A little? You make money. You got gills, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco-Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer.
I mean, yeah, I did take that bribe from that choice woman.
Oh yeah, You took that bribe hard. You're a killer.
Sure, and I also got that giant novelty check from Evrard.
Wasn't easy getting that giant novelty check from Everard. Took some ingenuity to get into the harbor, but you got in, and you took that bribe as hard as any cop's taken it.
You could say I took some money from that Maniana guy too.
You didn't log that in as a donation either. You don't log any of that shit in. You're a straight rider.
I didn't log any of that in. And they're spawning stuff after that suspicious Roy guy as well.
Yeah, you're in the sales business. Shake 'em for shit and then pawn it off. Law officer style.
I guess I've made some gills, sure.
Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself, are you rich?
Yeah, I got 35 real to my name. Yes, I'm quite rich.
Get out of here. You're a pauper. You work harder than anyone. Almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that?
It's because of that guard guy riding my ass.
The guardsman has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think hustler. Think with your head.
The system is broken.
Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor?
Normally I wouldn't say this, but because I know where this leads, I'm gonna say this. There's a market for corrupt cop out there, but the immigrant cops have price dumped it.
Look, the immigrants are cool. The immigrants play cool music. Everyone likes them, especially the women. Don't hate on the immigrants. They've got nothing to do with you living under a boat.
Fucking taxes, man.
That's right, 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze. Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gotham estate that is Revachol?
Oh, rhetoric is actually chiming in, which gives us this. I thought there were no taxes, because we're living in a Gossamer state.
You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax, this tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus, there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you here. The Gossamer state's a myth. In total, the coalition government is taking 98% of all your money.
Oh, 98%? Are you sure? That seems like a pretty big number, savoir-faire.
What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples?
Are we? Chat, are we tired of having these bloody nipples? Because the state, because the government is bleeding us dry with all these taxes. Are we gonna opt in to be a market fundamentalist? Or opt in just a little, but ask about deregulation? Or are we just gonna say no? Oh, this is just gonna make us into a market liberal. This is not what we want. It's preposterous. What do you think, chat? What's our reply? How should we think about this? You know, savoir-faire, bleeding nipples are kind of a pain, but how will deregulation help with that? As we opt in, but only a little bit.
It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it.
Well, that's pretty. We're now a communist, fascist, market liberal, and we also got a thought that we can now internalize. And it says it gives us -2 empathy as it's being researched, because we're cold-blooded. And the problem is, first, if you have a side bitch ideology cooking somewhere, don't sweat it. Fighting indirect taxation for the Gotham estate is compatible with all creeds. It's cool like that. You're a cool anarchist now. Unless you don't want to be an anarchist. Whatever. Stuff this meal ticket in your eye socket and let's see if we can steal some love back from the robber barons at the customs agency and the banditos at the Insulindian Financial Oversight and Competition Committee. So that's the thing we can now internalize. Indirect modes of taxation. We have become a market liberal. And isn't that just beautiful? Well, we still have Gaston here to speak to, but I think that's gonna have to wait until next time as we say goodnight. For it's not night, it's not even close to night in Martinez. But as we say goodnight to the stream, as we have become a market liberal, communist, centrist, something of a fascist. Our poor detective is so confused. He doesn't know what to think. But he knows he's a superstar. There's no denying that. Superstar Cop 17 points. Sorry, no, we're not about the apocalypse. We're definitely not about that. Sorry Cop, boring Cop, no. We're superstar all the way. And we're mostly communist, but you know, we can be whatever else we want to. It's totally fine. It's perfectly fine. And with that, we say goodbye to Disco Elysium for now. I'll see you next time.